Hi, this is Tashina.
And this is Jonathan.
And this is Abandoned Ship, a sci-fi podcast where we are trekking through Deep Space Nine.
Yes, today we have the one and only infamous DS9 episode, Season 1, Episode 10, It's a Move Along Home.
Infamous indeed. Boy, oh boy. This is worse than I remember.
It is both worse than I remember because I've never seen it before.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I've always skipped it.
So this is your first time watching?
And also very much on par with the last few episodes we've seen.
It
Especially
is.
the Bashirisms coming off the passenger.
I think for me, that's why it was a little worse than I remember. Because I didn't remember the overacting in this episode.
Oh, man. They go to 11 at every opportunity.
It's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I laughed, but probably for all the wrong reasons.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if they intended me to laugh at certain parts, but okay. Or maybe they did. I don't know. All right. So, we're ready to start this.
Yep.
So, my notes are fast and loose. I'm just letting everybody know up top. So, we'll see how this goes. Our cold opening. We are in the Cisco quarters. And Cisco is looking all fancy.
Yep, they got their terrible Starfleet dress uniform.
You know he's singing Charlie XCX in his mind, like, I'm so fancy.
Well.
He thinks he looks good. And then who walks in? Jake. We haven't seen him in like a couple episodes.
Yeah.
I'm like, there he is. There's a lot of back and forth between them. I just noted that Jake's definitely, as a 14-year-old boy, starting to get interested in the ladies.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently him and Nog are talking about women, and that terrifies Cisco. Cisco overreacts when it comes to Nog, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of women, I can see where he would be concerned because he knows how Ferengis see and treat women in their culture. So, it'd be nice to have a conversation with Jake going, okay, what were you told? What do you think? Do you agree with what Nog what Nog told you? But of course, Cisco is just at 11 with this already. He's just like, ah.
Yeah, this starts an interesting, I guess not starts, because this has been Cisco's thing for a while, but it continues the theme of Cisco having some sort of speciesism against Ferengi.
Yes.
Like, he is not all about that.
Mm-hmm.
And it rides the line of, like, sort of a racism, a stereotyping.
Yes.
Mixed with some legitimate concerns.
Yes.
The Ferengi have an undeniable bad reputation about how they treat women. That is a fact. It is their culture. Fine. It's not good.
So yeah, I get Cisco's concerns, but the way he's coming about it, like,
Yes.
automatically, Nog is the enemy.
And that's, I think you hit on that head where you're faced with this prejudice about Ferengi. How that becomes a problem is when you meet a Ferengi and you take those prejudices and assume
Mm-hmm.
that you make judgments then about that person. You're right. You hit the nail on the head when you said that he never asks about what Nog is saying.
Yeah.
Well, what does Nog say?
Who knows? Maybe
what do you
Nog
talk
is
about?
progressive. Maybe he's not.
Who knows?
Maybe he has a lot of mixed ideas. Just because he's Ferengi doesn't necessarily mean like automatically.
Yeah. The point being, Cisco never asked.
Exactly. And you could be like, hey, let's put a pin in that for later when I have time. We'll sit and talk about ladies and,
He schedules a date. We're tomorrow morning, first thing, we're talking about women. Jake's like, great.
I know. Like,
A scheduled birds and the bees talk. Put
fun.
that on my calendar.
Then we go into why Cisco is dressed all fancy. It's because they have a first contact with a species from the Gamma Quadrant, right? Called Wadi.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently the Vulcan met them first. And I'm like,
Can't imagine how that went.
oh, they must have something against Starfleet if they're like, hey, how about Starfleet, you come over and deal with this.
Humans have games, right? You go talk to them. We don't have time for this shit.
So Cisco, Kira, Dax, and Bashir are the team that are going to meet the Wadi. They're all in their fancy gear, except for Bashir.
Who has forgotten to pack his uniform.
But he said, I know I packed it,
Yeah,
but I
guess he
can't
couldn't
find it.
Can't they just replicate another one?
Guess he didn't have time for that because they're moments away from meeting them. And so he's like, is it okay? Is it okay? And Dax's like, it's fine. Kira's like, it's fine. Cisco comes around the corner and says, no, it's not fine.
The fuck are you wearing?
Cisco is not pleased. And he's like, this is pretty much, we see that Cisco is taking this first contact very serious. Like, this is serious business to Cisco. So kind of feel bad with how everything goes with this. So far, the Gamer Quadrant first contacts are not going well at all.
Nope.
So they meet the Wadi, and they automatically are like, where are the games? Take us to Quarks. Which, I don't even know how they know about Quarks, but they found out about it.
A reputation. I guess the Vulcans tipped them off.
And they're like, sure. Guess we'll take you to Quarks. So we go to Quarks, and it's just a lot of them playing Dabo, them showing kind of their currency in a way. Like, they have these sticks.
Yeah, they're all about the sticks. They have many uses.
Yeah, they say many uses. We only see
With a
one.
wink.
We only see one
They
in this
definitely
episode
stick
later.
to butts.
And then at the end, they go, what about these? And they bring out all of these gems, and Quark is like, oh.
They seem to regard it because they offer the sticks. They're like, these are everything. Then some wine. This is priceless. And then they sort of like, well, I guess we have these. I guess we have these rocks. If you want these rocks, and of course that's what Quark wants. So
I did
Quark's
laugh.
all about that.
I did laugh when Quark drank the wine and gagged. He's like, ugh, no thanks. And Cisco's like, just take the juice. Cisco's got a lot of great one-liners when he gets irritated. So 6 hours later, Cisco is there with his drink. I'm guessing is some form of coffee because he's been there for 6 hours. Seems like it's pretty late in the night. And he's just had it. He tells Quark, if they ever stop playing Dabo, just contact me, let me know. Please just take care of them. Cisco comes back to his quarters, and there's Jake still up. And he's like, what's going on? He's like, oh, I was up with Nog. We're working on a school project, which Keiko's been gone for a while. So does that mean she gave them school projects while she was gone?
I guess so. Makes sense, right?
I don't know. It just,
gone.
to me, it's like summer break. Like, I'd be pissed if a teacher is like, here's some work while on break. But, and then Cisco again. And he's just, now he's tired. So now Cisco's really cranky. He's like, he's keeping you up late. You shouldn't be up late. You're a boy your age. And I'm like, 14? Dude, you'd be glad if he's sleeping. If he's a 14-year-old boy. So he makes his cranky way to bed. Quark does what Quark does best, and he starts cheating to make
because
the
what's
Wadi
happening
lose.
is, the Wadi are winning too much.
I mean, it seems like they've been winning for 6 hours, and he's had it.
Which I feel like, unless they are manipulating the game, this game's just very poorly set up. Because it's, I mean, most gambling things are set up so the house always wins, right? But they're able to walk away with stuff just on random chance.
I guess the
You gotta
house
reevaluate your Dabo table.
I guess the house wins because Quark presses the button.
I guess so.
He's caught. Yikes. You could tell that Wadi are not happy about this, but they introduce a new game, an honest game called Chula.
The irony of that statement.
Yeah. They open up their little box, and out comes this huge contraption of like different layers. Yeah.
7 circles of hell, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And now we see Cisco in his little bed. He rolls over and wakes up in a different place.
I was joking that when he gets teleported out of his bed onto this hard floor, that he actually doesn't wake up because he didn't notice the comfort change. Those Cardassian beds are that bad. Anyone's been keeping up with the podcast, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, it'd been hilarious if you just slept through the whole thing.
Really great night's sleep.
why isn't this piece moving on the board? It just stays at
He's
one
still
spot.
asleep. That would be Bashir.
He sees the lead Waddy guy for a second. I just wrote, this guy's so annoying.
Move along home.
Move along home. Go home. Yeah.
It's also weird because, like, my impression of this episode, having not seen it but seeing clips, was that this is what this guy would be like all the time. This, like the guy at Hunger Games.
Oh, yes.
Stanley Tucci's character.
Yes.
You know, just very, like, flamboyant, like, always, like, be an extra.
Mhm.
But he's not. Most of the time, from the moment you meet him, he's very, where are the games? This is what we have to wager.
Yeah, only in
Make
the
your
game
move.
does he have kind of these moments.
Yeah, that was sort of weird to me. Is like, well, you'd think like this whole culture is based around games, they'd be a little more fun.
Honestly, that seems
but
very boring.
Yeah, very yeah. So I was surprised at that. I'm like, oh, he's not like that all the time. That's unfortunate. Because at least you'd have something more memorable.
So after he does his spooky bit, we hear screaming, and it is
If you can call it
Bashir.
that. It's at first I was like, is that Bashir? Why does he sound like that? What are you doing?
He's like up against a wall, like shaking his head back and forth, screaming.
Ma, ma, ma.
He said he was trying to wake himself up.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And
okay.
then Cisco wakes him up and he just looks at him and just goes, ma.
This is honestly,
That caught me completely off guard.
this is the only part you have to see in this episode. Just fast forward to when he first meets Bashir in the game, and the way Bashir acts, his face is just amazing. And because he's screaming, we see Kira and Dax also arrive. And they're like, what was that screaming? Is there a little girl in trouble?
But yeah, they figure out, okay, yeah, you know, we're in some sort of Waddy thing.
Mhm.
Waddy's at play here, so
So not only is Bashir at 11, Kira
goes to 11 in a lot of these early episodes, but especially here.
This was bad. Like the level of anger she was at. Like, was the actress also so pissed that like bled through because
When I understand it,
mad.
my understanding is a lot of the actors did not like this episode either. So
I agree with them.
yeah, he's like, oh, maybe this is a behavioral test. She was like, a behavioral test? Why I didn't sign up for this? It's like, oh, calm down. Just got here.
And then Dex says something about like, yeah, calm down, you know, we need to just observe and try to figure out what's going on. And she's like, oh, I bet you Starfleet officers love this, love being a part of this. Like, she gets like on their case for being Starfleet and loving being like in the situation.
Should judges work here?
Yeah. Like, I don't think any of them want to be here, Kira. They're just trying their
says
best.
like, I don't want to be here either. So yeah, their comm badges work, I guess, which is kind of strange. And their tricorders. They put a lot of...
But not to the outside world, just
Not the
to
outside, within.
In, yeah.
Which seems weird for whatever... I mean, I guess we never figure out where they are.
No.
If it's like a holodeck, a mental thing.
God, like, because, yeah, we got like a weird Stanley Kubrick moment later on in the episode.
They do a lot of scanning and lots of techno babble on like when the earthquake happens later. They do a lot of stuff where I don't think you needed any of that.
No,
we can see what's happening, and I don't know if it makes sense for whatever kind of fantasy world they're in for all their technology to still work.
Yes, I would have preferred if none of it worked.
Yeah,
but
all right,
that's low
yeah.
on the issues I have with this episode. So we go to security, and Jake comes in and asks Odo, do you know where my dad is? Because I woke up and he was gone, and he's nowhere on the ship. So this starts Odo's hunt, where he's trying to find first Cisco, and then later on he finds out that 4 people are gone. So he heads to Ops, and we see Lieutenant Prim again, and he
looks drunk off his ass.
He pre-gamed this chef for sure, because he goes,
what does he say? Doesn't he say something else at the beginning? What does he say when he walks in? Some howdy doody thing, but it was just like, I was just like, what the fuck?
So he's also at 11, and apparently his 11 is drunk.
drunk and or high. His whole reaction also didn't make sense because you would think he would be the one, because he's all like about like
A
procedure.
stickler, yeah.
And stickler for like I'm a serious person, but he
Yeah.
didn't.
Because he's like, yeah,
none of the
Dax and
senior staff
Bashir,
report
none of
did.
them are here. And Odo's like, don't you think that's a problem? And he's like, no, they were up late with the waddies, so they're just probably sleeping in. Like, what?
This whole line, it feels like
What?
they've gotten him mixed around, because he should be the one being like, you didn't report for duty at 0800 hours exactly. I'm reporting you missing.
Was this supposed to be another character? Like Miles? Was this supposed to be Miles? And they're like, oh crap, he's still on vacation?
That might have made more sense. I think to me, it's they wanted to, make Odo look like, he was the one who really knew what was going on, because
Yes.
Prim isn't. He doesn't have experience. But this was sort of a weird way to go about it. It didn't fit what they've established his character as being, this like stickler for procedure,
Yeah.
where he's just brushing off all the senior staff not showing up for.
Exactly. I feel like both him and Odo should have arrived probably around the same time. And he's like, hey, I'm trying to find Kira. Like, where's
Yeah.
Kira? And then they do like a stock of who's missing. And that's when they realize all 4 of their main officers are missing. Like, he shouldn't have been like, literally, he's hanging off the edge of like a console, like just doing this thing
Yeah.
that I imagine like teenage boys to do. And got the Odo. Okay, Prim. So, Constable Odo pretty much hands Prim his ass to him and says, don't call me Constable. Oh, Odo mad. Go back to Quark's, and he starts to play the game. Also, this is where we see the sticks come into play. It's literally, everybody in the background has 2 sticks, and they're just...
They're also trading them around. They're wagering them. That's what they're using for their wagers. Is the sticks.
I thought they were just like a little party favor type thing. Like,
No, I think that's just something they also do with the sticks, along with the third one that's jammed up their ass. You guys really got a stick up your ass. Well, actually, I do, but no, that's all right. I don't need to see it.
I trust you.
They said they have many uses.
So we go back into the game, and we see this creepy girl playing hopscotch, some type of form of hopscotch. And they're trying to figure out... Oh, because it's the first door that is open for them.
Because Quark did a roll,
Yes.
which allows them to proceed.
So, exactly. So what we gather is he does a roll, and I guess it determines what's in this room and how they can get to the next level.
Yeah.
And so I guess this is not a bad roll. They figure out, because they try to cross the room and there's a force field. So the only way to cross the room is to do the same hopscotch as her. But as Bashir finds out, you also have to do the stupid rhyme with it.
Yep, and the hand positions and everything.
Well, which, if anybody hasn't seen it, go first off watch Lower Decks. But they also
Yes.
do an episode where they do a great spoof off of this
Yes,
episode, and
it was
it's
great.
solid. So they get through, yay, and now Quark can possibly double his winnings, but it's double the peril. Ooh! And this is when Odo comes in and asks Quark, "Hey, do you know where these 4 missing officers are?
4 officers.
4 missing?
4. And then Quark looks at his board. 4? I have 4 pieces. And I was like, oh?
Are they the pieces?"
4 and 4. Imagine if this wasn't the case. Like they had 4 pieces and they had 4 people, and they're just like, they accused the Wadi of kidnapping their officers, but they're just like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's the board game. You insane?
It's just...
Lucky for them, they were right. Otherwise, this would have been a huge disaster diplomatically.
Yes, this is such a leap of logic. Like, I feel like I needed at least one more piece. It doesn't have to be huge, but one other little piece.
They should have looked like them somehow.
Yes, been some kind of representation of them, which I guess they were supposed to be, but I didn't gather what it was.
Yeah.
I guess they couldn't, because there is a line later where Quark has to choose one, and he's like, I don't even know which one's which piece. So I guess that's why they don't look like them.
Yeah.
There should have been something more, because how they jumped from A to B was insane. But
Yeah, they
They're
figured
right.
it out.
They're right.
So now Quark is much less keen on choosing the dangerous option. He's now going for the safe option, which credit to him. He is actually trying to help these people.
He's like, "Ooh, double the winnings at first." Yeah.
Yep.
He does his roll. They go into the next room, and it's looks like a party. If you've seen the movie Labyrinth, kind of like that, where everybody's just drinking and talking, but they're ignoring the 4 crew members. And then all of a sudden, the smoke starts to fill the room.
Oh, you have Kira doing her 11 thing again, where she's yelling at everybody.
Why are you ignoring me? This is not funny. Talk to me.
Why am I persecuted?
So they're being drugged, but they notice nobody else is, and they're eating and drinking. So Bashir just does a Hail Mary, drinks one of the drinks. He's fine. So they all drink the drinks.
Woohoo.
Yeah, there you go. On to level 4. And I noted here, Quark is getting that greedy look in his eye, though, because he probably thinks, oh, they're doing so well. Everything's going so well. Why shouldn't I double my winnings? So we go to Ops, and Odo and Prim are scanning the Wadi ship, I guess, to see if it's possible the game, I guess, is going on their ship. Odo's like, cool, I'm going to go onto their ship. And Prim's like, what? You can't do that?
Just beam onto their ship. And he's like, and Odo's like, is there Starfleet room? It's like, yes.
Are you allowed to press the buttons? I said Prim gets his panties in a bunch. Odo goes onto the Wadi ship, and first he opens a door and is like blinded by the light. And this is like
does a huge dramatic my fake eyes.
I mean, pretty much this is as dramatic as Odo gets. Yeah. So even he's at 11.
He saw everyone else taking it to 11. It's like, I gotta take it to 11.
And this is the Stanley Kubrick moment that I mentioned, where he goes through the door and he ends up back at Quark's. And the lead guy gives him a knowing look. Like,
I see you know where you've been, trying to sneak on our ship. I guess the point of this scene is just to show that, okay, obviously they'd be trying to find them separately, but it's super pointless because the Wadi technology is beyond them. The whole thing doesn't really make a lot of sense, though, but I get the purpose of it. Yeah. So, like, okay, the only way out is to play the game.
Exactly. Odo's not going to
cheat their way out.
Yes, Odo can't detect his way through. Yes.
Yeah.
So, once again, Quark sticks with a safe path, but he has a bad roll. And in the game, these lights come after the crew.
As he's lights. As the guy's like putting his hand over each piece, like the lights are shining on each person. And you see like Kira, because they tell him like to find cover. So like Kira and Cisco are off to one side trying to hide, and Dax off the other. And it goes to the middle. And there's just Bashir going, oh, against the wall.
I'm pretty sure he would have gotten rid of Bashir anyways, even if he was hiding.
Yeah, so the lights go to Bashir and zap him away.
Bye.
Twitch, no one looks at where Bashir was and says, Bashir! They look away from him like, follow!
Yeah.
Guess they didn't care about Bashir too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
after this, I guess Quark is like, what if we get another bad roll? So Quark decides to choose the shortcut because at the point where they are now, they will skip one level and be able to go to the home level.
There's an interesting thing that they attempted here, but didn't do a great job of trying to give Quark a moment to be a little bit of a hero. Because obviously he gets himself into this mess by cheating at the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts playing this game, and he's playing it like he would a game. Then he finds out they're really in it, and now he's just playing everything safe.
Yes.
The safer path, which is always longer, the longer path. But the rolls, which are not up to him, can also be bad and get people eliminated, like they just did with Bashir.
Yes. So
he has a moment here where he's like, because Odo is telling him to, like, choose the safer path. But Quark gives a pretty decent, makes a pretty decent argument for, like, no, look, he's building some confidence here. He's like, I know how to play games. I am a gambler. He's a professional gambler, I guess.
Yeah, he is.
He knows this is his arena. He knows games. He knows that for them to make it out, they can't just take the safer path the whole time because they can still get in trouble anyway because of bad rolls. So they need to
more
cut
opportunities.
The amount
Yes.
So
They
the
lose
fewer
people.
opportunities to do bad rolls, the safer they will be.
Mhm.
It's a risk, but it's a risk for the safety of those 4 people. So even though, I mean, he makes a little angle about doubling his winnings, but I think the purpose really is like, I know what I'm doing. This is the way to do it.
He's a
We
gamer,
take
yeah.
the shortcut. We skip a whole level that cuts out a whole level of chances for bad things to happen,
Yes.
which I think was nice.
I understood where he's coming from,
Which is
and I actually do think he made the right choice.
Yeah, but it's immediately undercut because the shortcut doesn't work, and he has to eliminate another person anyway. I wish like that shortcut would have paid off at least at first, and then
Maybe somewhere
the
in the
next roll,
shortcut.
the very
yeah.
next roll, because that's you could have trust me, we're going to do the shortcut. He doesn't, it works. Great, Quark doesn't know what he's doing. Rolls again, but by random chance, now he gets a bad roll and has to lose a person, which reinforces Quark's point of like, these rolls can just be bad all the time, so we just have to get out of this as quickly as possible.
Yes.
But instead, they undercut it by basically being like, oh, you idiot, you made the wrong choice?
No,
It's like, well, yeah, he still was right, just there should have been some separation.
It was actually Odo's fault because he blew on the dice.
That's true.
So blame it on Odo. We'll do that.
Odo gives bad blowies. I mean, he has bad luck.
So Quark has to sacrifice one pawn so he can save the other 2. And he has to randomly choose because he doesn't know which pawn represents which.
He was desperately trying to figure out which one was Jadzia, but he couldn't figure it out.
He couldn't figure it out. So he's like, no, I can't do this. I can't accidentally kill Jadzia.
Now it's Quark's turn to take it to 11.
He is on his knees begging, wailing, crying, and
gnashing of teeth.
And the Wadi guy's like, oh, Jesus Christ. All right, we'll just have the game randomly choose who's going to die. So we go back to the game. They're looking around and they hear Bashir's voice. Come here, guys.
First mistake was trusting Bashir.
So they follow the voice. Dax is first, and then there's some kind of earthquake. Some rocks fall, and I guess it hurts her leg.
She has this really awkward thing where she like sticks her leg in a hole and twists it around. And
I'm like, the cave is about to collapse, and the whole time the 3 of them, like Dax, like, go on without me, and Cisco's like, I'm not going without you. She's like, I would leave you behind.
Thanks.
He goes, no. And then he tries to convince Kira to go over and leave them behind, and she helps. And apparently they all decided they wish they could court-martial each other.
This is where she's doing like the tricorder, like, I'm reading a tectonic shift of 2 ground masses. We are directly under a fault line. It's like, so
Who
wait,
cares?
is your yeah, who cares? I can see it's an earthquake. Is your tricorder, are these fake readings? Like, where are you? Is this environment not real? Is this in a real planet?
Not real.
What?
Who cares?
Who cares what the tectonic shift? Yeah, I get it. The cave's collapsing. It's part of the game.
Thanks.
Anyway.
So they're all on the side of the cave, moving along slowly. Something happens.
Rocks fall and they fall.
They all fall in. And then they all, 4 of them, Bashir too, beam over to Quark's.
Ta-da.
The game ended. And Quark thinks he wins because they're all there. And the guy's like, no, you didn't. You lost. And they're like, oh, but why are we alive? And the white guy's like, it's only a game. At this point, I wrote, the Wadi are assholes. And pretty much, like, Cisco gets mad at them first, but then he shifts the blame to Quark, which, he did cheat. That's fine. But, like, the Wadi, nothing happens to them. There's no, like, nothing is gained or lost in this episode. And that is ultimately why this is a bad episode.
Yeah.
Nothing is gained or lost. Because even if they did this whole thing where at the end, it is just a game, they're fine. Throughout, they should feel that peril. And because they do, the challenges should have tested them in ways. Like either they gave up information about like themselves, to like be able to go through these stages. Like there had to be some point to these challenges if they ultimately survive at the end. because we
Yeah.
have to gain at least some knowledge, some kind of stakes, anything. But they figure out everything so quickly. We learn nothing new about our characters. In fact, they're just cartoons of themselves. We don't even get the real them.
Right.
And we don't really learn anything with Quark or Odo. They just do what they do. Like, the Wadi just come in to this game and leave. Like, they don't, like, nothing changes for either group. Like, it all is for nothing. And yeah, there's a lot of cringe, a lot of overacting, but ultimately, those aren't the reasons why this is a bad episode. A bad episode because nothing happens.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. It's kind of astonishing how little happens. Other than we just see Cisco be more prejudiced against Nog. Like, literally, that's the only thing we really see in this episode. It had nothing to do with the game.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that hits the nail on the head.
I
You're right,
remember seeing this and shocked.
There is a lot of easy, low-hanging fruit here in terms of things that make it bad or an annoying episode. But you're right, yeah. At the core of it, even if none of those things were there, say you had much better acting and whatnot, you would still have the same problems with the core story.
Throughout Star Trek, we've had cringier episodes than this, but at least they're trying to do something, trying to explore something, try to do something with the characters. We're doing nothing here.
And they don't come to any greater appreciation of like Wadi culture because they also, from the very beginning, Cisco's very dismissive of they just want to play games.
They're at the whole
They're
thing.
doing child's play.
Yeah.
The Wadi guy at the beginning's like, some people think it's just child's play, but it's it's serious to them. But that never convinces anybody. It never crosses cultural boundaries.
That could have been part of the game where they have to like unlock maybe their inner children to like really engage with the game, and the games are challenging, but you still have to have that like childlike Squid Games. Actually, Squid Games is that where the games mean something. And they don't here. And I'm not just talking about because nobody died. Yes, that's...
Oh, yeah, obviously you can't have people die.
You can't have people die. That's fine. But you could still have a compelling episode with that being the ending.
They have to make choices. And no
choices were made. No choices. No stakes, no choices, no character development. Nothing.
Yep.
Wow. I knew it was bad before, but really like thinking about it this time around, I'm like, I could see why this is one of the worst ones.
Yeah, on the flip side, if you had fixed that part about the core story, but kept all the ridiculous overacting and and just nonsense, baffling choices, you actually would have probably ended up with a rather endearing cult classic of an episode. Where it's like, you know what, I actually like this because even though you can't stop laughing at it, it still has a heart, but it had no heart.
Oh no, didn't have heart either. It was just a lot of nothing. It was shocking.
Yeah. All right. Anything else to say about Move Along Home?
I think I said it all in my rant. What about you? Anything you want to add to that rant?
Me, yeah. Well, we'll be back with next week for
the Nagus, right?
The Nagus, which I think is better. I think I remember that one being. That's a big universe developing episode, right? Because you get to see more about the Ferengi and such. But
the Nagus is played by Wallace Shawn, right? The guy from Princess Bride. Yeah, he's great. But this is not the one where Quark does drag. Okay. That's another.
That's much later.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I know that's sometime in the future.
All right.
All right. So,
see you then.
See you then. Bye.
Bye.